Strongholds. We find in the New Testament when it's revealed to us that our battle is not natural. In the Old Covenant, everything was natural. All the enemies were natural. All the battles were natural. All the challenges were natural. And all the rewards were natural. In the New Covenant, the rewards actually are ahead of us. We're not receiving all of everything that is coming to us until resurrection. And so sometimes it's actually harder when you operate in grace because bad things can be happening even when you're not doing any bad thing. Because bad stuff just happens on this side of resurrection. We're in a corrupt age. Free will is in operation, and difficult things happen. God's grace covers us and will bring us through. A stronghold is a structure that is built, and the material that is used to build a structure is lies. And what happens for a individual, it's the same geographically. We'll talk about that in just a second. But for an individual, there's some sort of traumatic event, heavily emotional event that there's an imprint that takes place. That imprint can be, I've known of the imprint being some child at 4, 5, 6 years old having a negative situation happen with a person in authority, a school teacher, a police officer, a Sunday school teacher, somebody. And the experience was really traumatic for the child. Maybe not even visibly to be noticed by the adults involved, but the child is greatly traumatized. Well, then the adversary takes that and uses that to imprint the thought that authority is bad, or policemen are bad, or teachers are bad, or anybody who's trying to boss me around is bad. And then from that point, he will draw our attention away. The adversary will distract us from any information in front of our eyes that would contradict that thought. And he will draw our attention to any circumstances that will validate that thought. And with every validation of that lie, then that lie becomes more and more established in our thinking, more and more locked into our identity, into our system of operation. And with every validation, another brick in the wall, if you will. And every validation is another brick in the wall. Till at one point, this lie that started out as simply this imprint becomes, for us, in our understanding, it's just the way the universe is. And it can be teachers are just bad people. Men are bad. Women are bad. Preachers are bad. Whatever. I mean, the list goes on. Or it can be something in the context of, I can't get by without this drug. I can't get by without this kind of sexual activity. I can't live without it. I'm this addict to this or that or those. So these lies can be in any form, just lies that are imprinted by a pretty heavily emotional, in charge situation. And then the enemy lies and lies and lies and lies until the house is built. And once the house is built, now they don't have to validate that anymore. That's just, you believe it just like you believe gravity. And that's the reason that tearing down the stronghold is such an important part of getting people actually free. We can, we have authority through Christ to command fallen angels to leave people alone. But if the stronghold isn't destroyed, they will at some point return to find it. And so strongholds are built by lies in an individual. They're built in communities in the same way. Traumatic events happen in communities. When I say traumatic, I just mean emotionally charged. That can be traumatic on both sides, emotionally charged in euphoria or emotionally charged in disaster. So, but just heavily emotionally charged events happen, and a community of people, it happens in them together. And the enemy takes that and kind of makes an imprint in an area. And so then we all see areas where suicide is more prevalent than in other areas. We see areas where drug addiction is more prevalent than other areas. We see areas where child abuse is more prevalent than other areas. And because when you get in a geographical area that has a stronghold, then there's a large area where there's kind of a corporate deception that goes on, where many, many people in the same area believe the same lie. And that comes together to be more than just a stronghold in an individual, but it becomes a stronghold in an entire social area. And it's really interesting when you look at historically how that stays so true, how specific areas have challenges with specific things. And it comes from that same stronghold principle, because wherever the adversary can hang out, and not have to be in that desert suffering, they're going to hunt for that. They're going to hunt for it with all they can. And the only way they ever get a place to hang out is to build a house of lies. And we have the power. And I tell people all the time, we can't put Lucifer and all of his hordes into the fire. The Lord's going to do that at resurrection. But between now and resurrection, we can make them homeless. We have the authority to tear down their houses and to force them to have to operate without that kind of place of rest and comfort.